All right, what's up, guys? So, I'm going to talk about why I think tough love isn't the most effective way to raise children. And I think it's good to discipline your kids when they're doing something wrong and they need to be accountable, right? But at times, like when the kid is dealing with something that makes them struggle throughout life and it's affecting their life to the point where they struggle to overcome their obstacles and challenges and stuff, you know, like the kids are not going to ask for help from the parents because that's how they're raising them. They're raising them to like try to adapt and try to like give them boundaries and try to deal with the problem on their own, you know. But when it's like a problem that's affecting their life, then that's not a good parenting style, you know. The parent needs to be there when, like, say if the kid's dealing with a mental illness and is having a hard time keeping a job and stuff like that, you know. Like kicking out a person with a mental illness isn't always a good thing, you know. They may struggle living on their own. They may deal with something like bipolar disorder, like myself, and their moods can shift dramatically, and then, you know, that's how a lot of them become homeless. Most people that are homeless with mental illness have bipolar, you know, and when there's parents out there that have this tough love, like style of like parenting, it's not always good, especially, you know, it's not right. And yeah, like say if someone that does have a mental illness is being violent and stuff, then yeah, you gotta give them boundaries, but you know, it's not right for, like, say if they're not doing something harm, causing pain to others, you know. And a lot of times there's like these type of parents can be abusive. They're just disguising it as tough love. They wanna be controlling. They don't even want to show empathy. They don't even want to put in the effort, right? And they abuse that authoritarian parenting style, and that makes kids feel trapped inside their head, and their thoughts are ignored, and their issues, and when they address them, it's like it feels like it's nothing. It feels like it's not valid, you know. Tough love can be abused, that style, you know, and it's not effective for everyone. And it can, like, when parents are like this, you can may not have even a good relationship with your kids even more. Like your kids can be just not even talk to you ever again because of how you parent them, you know? Especially ones that like hit their kids and they say, oh, I still love you. You gotta face the consequences. You gotta get beaten, you know, with the whip or shit like that. I don't think that works, to be honest with you. That makes them want to do more bad things. And it's just physical abuse at the end of the day, right? Like, if a kid is doing bad, you should discipline them, right? They should take responsibility, but you don't hit them, you know? That's not tough love. I think what's good with tough love is like putting their kid in timeout or just kind of grounding them, you know? Or taking away a toy, like take away this, and that's what happens when you're disrespecting other people or something, or you're misbehaving, like if what the kid's doing. So I don't believe in like hitting kids or yelling at their kids, you know. And that's another thing. These parents have this tough love. They want to yell at their kids. They want to scream at their kids, and that's gonna hurt their psyche right here, and you know, it's gonna ruin their development. It's gonna mess with their mental health. And when these parents say it's like being assertive. It's being firm and harsh when really they're being abusive. They're yelling. They're screaming. They're causing more harm to the kid. You know, and that's not tough love. Tough love's just giving your kid like discipline, responsibility, and in a way where it's not going to hurt the kid's psyche. You know, and a lot of times these parents go too far, and it hurts their brain. That's what it is, and that's what I think. And like I said, I feel like a lot of kids rebel. They rebel when they deal with this parenting style when they're older. You know, it's I don't think it's healthy, to be honest. This tough love stuff. Especially if someone's dealing with like a disability or mental illness or just anybody that's struggling with their problems, you know? Like these parents need to show empathy, they need to show compassion and be there and communicate and try to understand like where they're coming from and put in the effort, you know, instead of like this tough love and try to tough it out and ignore it, you know? They think this tough love's ignoring it. It's not what it is. Like if this, it's just not right. Like given, like yeah, maybe if they go too far, maybe the kids are obnoxious. Maybe if the kids are doing really bad stuff, you know, and they're hurting you as a parent, or they're hurting others, then yeah, maybe you might have to give them boundaries, you know? It makes sense. But if they're like struggling and they're not really hurting others, you know, you give them boundary, you kick them out. You know, that's another one. You kick them out at 18 and you think that's tough love, like, oh, you just need to figure the world out on your own. It's just pathetic, you know, because school doesn't really teach you that much about the real world, and that makes the parents lazy to teach them life skills and stuff like that. So they let their kids out at 18, they're lost, they don't know what to do, and not all of them are able to adapt to the world because of it, because they're traumatized, they're stressed out all the time. Not all kids are able to adapt, and yeah, maybe some are, but that's lucky, you know? That's not good parenting style at all, you know? Especially in this economy, I don't understand that, you know? Like, I'm all for disciplining, I'm all for, like, say, giving your kid accountability when they're misbehaving, and it shouldn't go too far. That's what I think. Tough love gets too far, and you know, it's just not good. I'm trying to think of anything else before I end this one. And yeah, like a lot of these parents that think it's so-called tough love are abusing their kids emotionally and verbally. That's like my dad. Like he's verbally abusive. He screams and yells at me, and he thinks it's tough love when he, like, you know, when I'm homeless, and like, yeah, I mean, I deserve accountability for my actions, you know, but it's like he doesn't want to take accountability for his actions, basically. And you know, it's like I get ignored when I talk about my issues, you know. And yeah, I'm talking about myself here because it kind of relates, but like, you see, if you're dealing with parents like that, you know, you gotta get away from them. You gotta cut them out of your life, and it's not easy when you have some chip on your shoulder that like affects you all the fucking time, and it makes you almost incapable of getting out of there, you know? it's not the most effective parenting, you know. Tough love. I'll catch you guys later.